In the bustling city of Rivertown, where life moved at a relentless pace, lived a quiet, observant young woman named Lila. She worked at a small coffee shop on the corner of Market Street, serving hurried customers who barely glanced up from their phones. Lila had a unique hobby. She sketched people she found interesting. But it wasn't their appearances that drew her, it was their stories. She believed everyone was connected by invisible threads of emotion, experience, and fate. Every evening, she filled her sketchbook with portraits of the day's strangers, adding imagined narratives to their faces. One day, while cleaning up after closing, Lila noticed a man sitting alone at a corner table. He wore a suit that looked expensive but crumpled, as though he'd spent the night on that very chair. He stared at a photograph in his hands, his expression a mix of longing and regret. "Excuse me, sir," Lila said gently, approaching him. "We're closing now." The man blinked, startled, and quickly shoved the photo into his pocket. "Sorry," he mumbled, standing up. "I lost track of time." Lila hesitated, then asked, "Are you okay?" The man gave a tired smile. "Just reminiscing about someone I let slip away." And with that, he left. That night, as Lila sketched his face in her journal, she couldn't stop thinking about his words. Someone I let slip away. She had always believed in the power of second chances, but how often did people actually take them? The next day, Lila decided to try something new. She placed a small sign by the counter that read, "Share your story, and get a free coffee." At first, people laughed at the idea. A few even dismissed it as silly. But slowly, curious customers began to open up. A young woman talked about her dream of becoming a dancer, despite her parents' disapproval. An elderly man shared a tale of reuniting with his childhood sweetheart after decades apart. Each story felt like a thread, weaving a tapestry of connections in Lila's mind. One afternoon, the man in the crumpled suit returned. This time, he looked more put together, though his eyes still carried the same sadness. He noticed the sign and smiled wryly. "Does everyone tell you their life story for a cup of coffee?" he asked. "Not everyone," Lila replied. "But I think everyone should." The man nodded slowly. "All right, then. Here's mine." He introduced himself as Adrian, a successful businessman who had spent years climbing the corporate ladder. In the process, he had pushed away the people who mattered most. His best friend, his sister, and the woman he had planned to marry. "I always told myself I'd fix things later," Adrian admitted. "But now I'm not sure if later will ever come." Lila listened carefully, then said, "It's never too late to reconnect. Sometimes, the people we love are just waiting for us to make the first move." Adrian seemed unconvinced, but thanked her for the coffee. Over the following weeks, Adrian became a regular at the coffee shop. Each time, he seemed a little lighter, a little more hopeful. One day, he brought a small notebook with him. "I've started writing letters to the people I've hurt," he said. "Even if they don't forgive me, at least they'll know I'm sorry." Lila smiled. "That's a brave step." Months passed, and Lila's coffee shop became more than just a place to grab a drink. it became a sanctuary for stories. Customers began leaving notes on the walls, sharing their dreams, regrets, and triumphs. The shop's walls were soon covered with hundreds of colorful scraps of paper, each one a thread in the tapestry of human connection. One day, Adrian walked in with a woman by his side. She was elegant and kind-eyed, and the way she looked at Adrian spoke of deep forgiveness. "This is Emma," Adrian said, his voice filled with emotion. "The woman I thought I'd lost forever." Emma laughed softly. "He didn't lose me, he just needed to find himself first." Lila watched them leave, hand in hand, and felt a warmth in her chest. She realized that her small sign, "Share Your Story," had created a ripple effect, helping people mend their broken threads. That evening, as she sketched the two of them in her journal, she added a new line beneath their picture. "Sometimes, the invisible threads of our lives just need a little tug to bring us closer." Let's learn some words from the story. Relentless. Meaning, continuing without stopping or giving up, persistent. Example: the traffic in Rivertown was relentless, making it difficult for anyone to get to work on time. Pensive. Meaning, engaged in deep thought, reflective or contemplative. Example: Adrian looked pensive as he stared at the photograph, lost in memories of the past. Sanctuary. Meaning, a safe place or a place of comfort and peace. Example: the coffee shop felt like a sanctuary for those who needed to share their stories and find comfort. Vulnerable. Meaning, open to emotional harm or being easily hurt. Example: writing those letters made Adrian feel vulnerable, but it was a step toward healing. Wry. Meaning, using or expressing dry, especially mocking, humor, showing irony. Example: Adrian gave a wry smile as he shared his struggles with Lila.